And so came the day of TSW is dead, long live Westcountry. And I was in the very first programme they made, Westcountry Live. I was convinced I'd only been hired as the token yokel, a fact which was borne out the following day in a newspaper review which described me as a fat farmer who'd look much more comfortable leaning on a gate.
And welcome to Westcountry Live on Monday, the 4th.
And so we took the approach of do it gently. Don't try to be too aggressive. If you get lots of complaints, which we did, then just reply politely and say, look, watch us for 6 months, see how it goes. Make your own mind up.
So, coming up tonight, first the main news and weather.
Westcountry brought in an hour-long news programme each weekday evening. The technology was groundbreaking and many involved went on to bigger things.
The West Country's my home, always been really important to me, so to be able to follow the main things that affect West Country life and be involved in them all was just, for me, really special.
Angus Walker is now ITN's political correspondent, but started off as a researcher.
While the police and security forces are working flat out to protect us from suicide bombers, how is it justified for the Home Secretary to be on holiday?
Angus.
Oh, the lure of television. Richard Bath took over from David Foster when he too went to Sky.
The Plymouth-based frigate HMS Chatham is sailing away from Hong Kong.
8 bells normally signifies the end of a watch, but today it signified the end of...
I like interviewing people. This gives me the outlet to continue being a journalist, but also a little bit of a performer. And I suppose, you know, maybe that's why I still like doing live television programmes. So, yeah, I suppose it is sort of what I did want to do when I was a little boy.
My part in Westcountry Live, of course, will be remembered for all the inaccuracies and embarrassments in the weather forecast. But I did news stories too, often of a humorous bent, going around dressed as Napoleon or a chicken or whatever. I suppose is that the fateful day for these birds has been put off until the last possible minute. But there was one episode on the news scene in the southwest which called for compassion, not belly laughs.
2001 was all about foot and mouth disease. While the pyres silently burned, the arguments raged about how to contain the spread of infection.
The aim has always been to be the best and to get there the quickest, just as we did last year at Boscastle.
One of the worst natural disasters to hit the West Country in living memory.
We were up there with the truck within about an hour and a half of getting the first reports on it. Indeed, we had the first international pictures being beamed around the world.
The viewer, of course, is always in the forefront of our minds, but don't you forget those of us who actually bring the programmes to you. We have a marvellous time. I, for one, I've seen the world and spent an awful lot of time in the pub at their expense. On our way home tonight, and we will soon have to go, because that's it from the Queen's Arms at Pitminster.